There was a story I heard about your brand, and this happened a long time ago, where your manufacturer decided to work with a competitor.
Yeah.
Then you had to scramble and find another manufacturer.
Yeah, that was a soul-destroying part of the business. We ended up developing a really big business with me being on the road full-time in sales.
Yeah.
So I just had this amazing rapport with buyers all over the country. And it got to be quite big, but then, unfortunately, my main partner, who was the money, died in a motocross race. And they couldn't revive him by the time he got to hospital. And so I had to then try and convince our manufacturer, who had been with all the time, that don't worry, George, everything's going to be okay. I'll find new investors and it'll be business as usual. And now, because of all of these new sales efforts, the sales were going unbelievable. And I was bundling all these orders, 5,000 pairs at a time, and sending them off to the manufacturer and go, hey, George, have you started production? I was, well, how are you going to pay me? Don't worry, George, I'll figure that,
Yeah.
And the next couple of weeks, I had another 10,000 pairs. Hey, have you got the black and the charcoal skins? Oh, I can't seem to find them, And I just got the feeling that he was remembering, he just had 3 years of great payments from, my new investors. And now he's dead, and he was going to think back to when I owned the company. And, the payments were like very sporadic. Well, I always paid him, but it was never a certain thing, you know. And so I got the feeling that maybe he's, going behind my back, but I couldn't find any evidence of it. I tried all sorts of financing things, ended up flying to Melbourne to a tannery and almost got a deal done there, but it didn't work. And now it's September, the first trade show's happening. And it was like, do I go? Because I got no product. I don't know how to get product. And I just had this sixth sense, I'm going to show. I'm not beaten yet. I don't want anybody to know the problems. And so we set up the booth, put all last year's product out, and my sales girl had given me a clue. She said, Brian, there's this company that's selling sheepskin boots, and they claim they're going to put UGG out of business. And I said, who are they? She said, well, Thunderwear. And so after we set up our booth, I thought, I wonder where those Thunderwear people are, and I looked them up on the trade map. So I walked over, and as soon as I got close to it, I just stopped dead, because there was all my product, all my new charcoal, all the black, all the natural and sand colors. And I realized that my manufacturer had gone behind me and didn't tell me, and they called the brand Thugs, from Thunderwear to Thugs, and I thought it was very appropriate, and yeah, so I went through the whole show. We wrote a record number of sales that show, and I knew my wife and I had already talked that, hey, we're not going to be able to ship anything, so we decided we're going to call all our customers, our best customers, and tell them to buy the Thugs because it's our product anyway. Defeat's not a real thing until the second you give up, right?
Beautiful.
And I was not defeated at that point. When I saw the Thugs boots on the trade show, that was the closest I ever got to defeat. And I made up my mind, I'm out of this for this year. I'll regroup, see if I want to come back next year. We closed the show down, packed it all up, went back to San Diego, and the last thing before I went to bed was I called this tannery in Australia. We'd spent 2 or 3 days trying to make a business relationship work where he was going to finance the production.
Yeah.
I just told him what's happened, and he was sad, and we went to bed. And in the middle of the night, he calls me up and says, Brian, screw that other manufacturer. I'll get you all the boots you need, And just like that, we were back in business. No handshake, no contract, no nothing. We got on the phone, and the next morning I sent down the patterns for all the styles and sizes, and he got 5 different manufacturers ready, and he cranked his tannery up to full production. The bottom line is, we survived. We threw away over $1 million worth of orders.
Wow.
Which means the retailers threw away $2 million at retail. The other weird thing that happened is that the customs broker that we used screwed up, and he shipped 4,000 pairs of Thugs to me and 2,000 pairs of my UGG boots to them. and they were only about 60 miles away up in San Clemente. So I called him up and I said, hey, I want to get my boots. When I got up there, we swapped them around, and I was driving back, and I was thinking, how come we couldn't keep boots in the warehouse for 24 hours? We got 5,000 every Friday. Saturday lunchtime, we're empty.
Yeah.
Every single week from October, November, December, right? And there's the Thugs warehouse, floor to ceiling, way bigger than our warehouse, full of sheepskin boots. And that's when I realized the loyalty of my customers was so powerful that they refused to buy the Thugs, because the word had got out through the industry all over the country what had happened. They refused to buy Thugs. And that's really the testament to what business is all about.
That's brand loyalty.
I had met every single one of these buyers all across the country, and they stuck by me. I swear you can't pay for that. It's who you are in business that creates that brand loyalty.
Thank you for watching. Make sure to check out the full interview to get even more business tips and insights. Remember to subscribe and follow me on social media at Faisal Karmali.